Shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Barachakadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone from whom I learned this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 elect. I am Mayakala. And I'm probably going to call this lesson, Whom Will You Serve? Something along those lines. Choose who you will serve this day. And the reason I mention that choosing who you will serve, because a lot of the Israelites are being double-minded, and we'll take a look and see what double-minded means, because we're so close to the day of the Lord. No, of course, no one knows what that day is, but we can see what so many prophecies are written in this scripture coming to pass, that we are definitely in the end days. And that's why it's important that you choose who you will serve. I want to go to the book of Zephaniah. And before I go to the book of Zephaniah, I want to just see what his name means. Questions. You know, I like to look up definition, meanings of names, because names mean so much. But before I even do that, let me stay in Deuteronomy. I'm going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 19. And this is Moses in the wilderness with the Israelites, before the Israelites were getting ready to cross over Jordan and go into the land that they were promised by the Most High. And this reads, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. And I'll read it in the NLT. It says, today I have given you the choice between life and death, between blessings and curses. And that's why it's so important for you to make your choice, to choose who you will serve. You're going to serve this world, or you're going to serve the Most High. It says, now I call on heaven and earth to witness the choice you make. So the Most High knows what choice that you're going to make. But as you can see here, Moses is making sure that you know that you have to make a choice, and you want to make this choice, and it's going to be witnessed by the Most High on what comes out of your mouth and what you choose. It says, oh, that you would choose life, so that you and your descendants might live. All right, now I said I was going to go over to the book of Zephaniah, but I want to look up Zephaniah's name. So I'm going to go to 1 Chronicles 6 and 36. I just want to be able to look up his name. This is not a verse that I wanted to bring out. And it says, the son of Elkanah, the son of Joel, the son of Azariah, the son of Zephaniah. So I just want to look up Zephaniah, what his name means. And it is H6846. And I'll give you a pronunciation of it.
Strong's H6846. Zephaniah.
Zephaniah says, Yahweh has treasured. And it says, I'm going to go to definition B. It says, son of Maaseiah, and the second priest in the reign of King Zedekiah of Judah, succeeded Jehoiada, and an officer of the temple, slain at Riblah on the capture of Jerusalem. And look at definition D. It says a Levite, so he's a Levite. All right. But I just wanted to look there just to give you what his name means. But I'm going to go over to the book of Zephaniah. And I'm going to go chapter 1, verse 14. Since I mentioned the day of the Lord, I want to read this to you. It says, the great day of the Lord Yahweh is near. It is near and hasteth greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord Yahweh. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. It says that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. I want to read that that verse in the NLT. It says, it will be a day when the Lord's anger is poured out, a day of terrible distress and anguish, a day of ruin and desolation, a day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and blackness. Verse 16, I'm going to continue in the NLT. It says, a day of trumpet calls and battle cries. Down goes the walled cities and the strongest battlements. So in this day, there's going to be cries from battle. There's going to be cries of people being slain in battle. Verse 17, it says, because you have sinned against the Lord Yahweh, I will make you grope around like the blind. Your blood will be poured out. Shalakia, your blood will be poured into the dust, and your bodies will lie rotting on the ground. Verse 18, it says, your silver and gold will not be saved, will not save you on the day of the Lord's anger. So all your riches, all the things that you stored up that are worldly, and that day, the day of the Lord, they're going to be of no use. You can't do anything with them. It says, for the whole land will be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, and he will make a terrifying end of all the people on the earth. That tells you what the day of the Lord consists of. That's when Yahweh Shai will come back and destroy this place. All right, I'm going to go. And this won't be very long. I just wanted to bring out a few verses about choosing who you will serve. Because, like I said, we are in the end days. The day of the Lord is at hand. And you need to not be double-minded. And let's go and take a look at what that double-minded is. I'm going to go to James chapter 1. And I'm going to go down to verse 8. It says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So just you being double-minded means that you really haven't made a choice. And you can't go in both directions. You have to be a choice. When you're double-minded, you have instability in your life. All right? I want to look up double-minded. It says G 1374, and I'll give you a pronunciation of it.
Strong's G 1374. Dipsuchas. Dipsuchas.
All right, it says dipsuchas. But if you look at that word, It looks like dicycles. Di meaning two, cycles meaning mind. Two minds, double-minded. And we look at the outline of the Bible, biblical usage, it says double-minded, wavering, uncertain, doubting, divided in interest. So being double-minded is not a thing that's going to provide you any stability. You have to be sure-minded, knowing what it is that you're going to stand on in these end days. Strong's definition says two-spirited, vacillating in opinion or purpose, double-minded. And while we're here, we're going to look at what is unstable. And it is G182. And I'll give you a pronunciation.
Strong's G182. Akatastatos. Akatastatos.
Akatastatos. It says unstable, inconstant, restless. The Strong's definition. And it says a derivative of inconstant. All right, so that's having no consistency at all. Being double-minded is being inconsistent. All right. And I just have a couple more that I want to bring out that stresses that you can't be double-minded, that you have to make a choice in these end days. And I'm going to go over to Luke 16. I'm going to go down to verse 13. And it says, and this is in red letters, so this is Yahushua speaking. It says, no servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve the Most High and Mammon. And let's see what Mammon is. That's a pretty straightforward verse other than that word Mammon. It's G3126. And I'll give you a pronunciation.
Strong's G3126. Mamonas. Mamonas.
All right, it says Mamonas. And it says, biblical usage number 2 says treasure. Number 3 says riches, where it is personified and opposed to the Most High. And the Strong's definition says mammonas, avarice, or mammon. All right, so when it says treasure there in the biblical usage, that is what it's referring to. Is referring to money. So you can't serve the Most High and also be trying to serve money, because if you're a worldly person, that's what you worship. You worship money and you clinging to this world, and that's what you think your lifeline is. But as the previous verse that we just looked at in Luke showed you, in the end day, your money in the day of the day of the Lord, your money is going to be useless. There's nothing that your gold or your silver can do for you. All right. I'm going to go over to 1 Corinthians chapter 10. And I'm going to go down to verse 21. It says, you cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. So you can't be double-minded, being one way on one given day and then revert back to worldly ways on another day. You have to be constant. You have to be stable. You have to be of one mind. And if you're going to serve the Most High, you have to be of the mind of the Most High. You have to be of one mind. All right? And this is the last verse that I'm going to bring out. Because like I said, this is not going to be very long. Because it's not difficult to figure out that you cannot be double-minded. And if you're going to decide you're going to serve the Lord, you're going to serve the Lord. And if you're going to be a servant of serve this world, then you're going to end up serving this world, and you're going to end up taking on the ways of this world and being marked by this world. All right, I'm going to go to James chapter 4. And I'm going to go down to verse 8. No, I'm going to start at verse 7. I'm going to read 7 and 8. And I'm going to read those in the NLT because they're pretty straightforward. It says, so humble yourselves before the Most High and resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Come close to the Most High, and the Most High will come close to you. Wash your hands, you sinners. Purify your hearts meaning minds, for your loyalty is divided between the Most High and the world. So you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision to wash your hands of this world if you're going to serve the Lord, because you can't serve both. All right? And like I said, those two verses were pretty straightforward. No need for me to draw this out. I think the point has been made. So I'm going to leave it right there. And I pray that this has been edifying to the listener. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom.